Ginny was a psychologist or psychology major, and I became a psychotherapist. Yeah, so I had a 20-year career. I just retired a couple years ago. So I guess it was typecasting, even before I knew.
What's up, everybody? Ryan from JoBlo.com coming to you from Crystal Lake Nightmares, a convention in Los Angeles that celebrates 45 years of Friday the 13th. I'm here to talk to your favorite final girls, victims, and slashers about their time at Camp Blood. Along the way, we're going to get some cool behind-the-scenes stories and their thoughts on the legacy of this beloved horror franchise 45 years later. So let's ignore the warnings of the locals and take a trip back to Camp Crystal Lake. For starters, I was wondering if you could kind of take us back to the beginning and tell us about your audition process for getting the role of Ginny.
Oh my gosh. Okay, I was in New York, and I was a young actor in New York, and they just asked me if I wanted to go up for an audition for Friday the 13th Part 2. And I was like, no, I didn't really. I wanted to do different films, like more John Hughes-ish or something like that. And then, but I said, no, I wanted, as an actor, you want a job. So I got the job.
And were there any odd things required of the process, like we need you to scream or run down the hall, or any sort of odd Friday the 13th related parts of the audition?
I know somebody did. I don't remember being asked to scream.
And so obviously your character is one of the most beloved in the franchise. When did you first realize that Ginny really stuck with the fans of this series?
Not for like 30 years later. I think it was honestly about 20 years after the film, when Peter Bracke did the book Crystal Lake Memories.
You, of course, have the distinction of being one of the few to actually full out survive this series, which is a rarity, I feel. What do you think sets your character apart that pushed her through?
I think she knew that she had to rely on her wits, not just brute strength. And she had to think. She had to walk, talk, and stab simultaneously.
And do you have any favorite memories or stories from set?
I just remember the camaraderie of everybody and how kind everybody was and how much fun, and we joked, and we were all young actors, and so we had an opportunity to sort of support each other through this endeavor, which was new for all of us.
And kind of a hypothetical situation, I suppose. Have you ever thought about where your character's life went after the events of this film?
Well, interesting that Ginny was a psychologist or psychology major, and I became a psychotherapist. Yeah, so I had a 20-year career. I just retired a couple years ago, and thank you. And so I guess it was typecasting, even before I knew.
Do you think there's some sort of thing tied in there where that inspired you to be like, oh, that could be a real cool thing to pursue?
Not from the film. I think, after I stopped acting, I was kind of like, okay, what am I going to be now that I'm grown up? And I had 2 kids, and, middle age is a time in your life where you're kind of questioning, okay, is this it? Do I want more? Am I on the right track? How are my relationships? What's my career? And so it just kind of seamlessly moved into that.
And so looking back on the shooting, do you recall any particularly physically demanding moments?
Yes, that scene where I go in between the 2 doorknobs and have to jump out the window. That was a real window, and it was high up, and I fell out of it, and it hurt. But when your adrenaline is going, and so it's kind of keeping you like doing crazy things, and guess not always thinking, but trying to survive.
How do you feel about the fans' perception of this film over the 45 years of Friday the 13th?
Oh, it's only gotten bigger.
It's not easy.
I mean, they just want to go back to the basics, to the truth, to the, to the fun of like how horror can be fun. and scare the crap out of you, you know? So it's only gotten more passionate. Yeah.
And that actually kind of leads into my next question. You know, we're here at a fan celebration of this beloved horror franchise. You have been around many horror fans in your time, I suppose. What do you feel is the biggest misconception about the horror community?
Oh, well, that's a great question. I would just say that, that people are scary and that they learn, you know, how to murder people and that they all live in the basement or something like that. And it's so not true. I mean, these are the most safe, fun, passionate people. I've been doing conventions, I don't know, for 15 years now or something, and I've never been scared. You know, in the very beginning, when I didn't know what it was about, I didn't know that this existed, and people just kind of glommed onto me. I had never had that before in my life, and so that kind of made me nervous. But people have been just so full of joy and generosity and kindness and respect.
And so this is a series known for eventually having a mashup film, the Freddy vs. Jason of it all. If your character of Ginny could face off against a different horror icon, who do you think she would stand the best chance against?
Oh, it's something AI. Yeah, because it would have to be sort of, plugged into this sort of greater all-knowing thing that I would have to psychoanalyze or outwit in some way.
With us being here celebrating 45 years and with a lot of fans watching this video later, I was wondering if you had any messages to the Friday the 13th fans on this anniversary.
Oh my God, thank you guys so much. Thank you so much. It's been so great, such an honor to meet you guys over the years and just to see how deep and truly Ginny and the series live in you in such organic ways. And, you know, once it's in your DNA, you can't escape. But that's been the most fun. Yeah. And that's what I would just say, like, I don't know, keep watching, and maybe there'll be a really great reunion put together one of these days, and maybe Paramount will facilitate it. And they can get all these people before we die.
So that's going to do it for me at Crystal Lake Nightmares. From JoBlo.com, I have been Ryan Coltrera. Stay safe out there, campers.
Thank you for clicking on our video, everybody. If you like what you saw here, please make sure you like the video and subscribe and share with your friends who like this sort of content. JoBlo remains an independent company, and we appreciate all of your support.